input, our first public input will be Generation Zero. I think we've got David speaking. Okay. Yeah.
Chair, just before Generation Zero start,
Yes.
are we constrained by those that are physically in the room making up the quorum? Is that the standing order? Okay, I'm just mindful of how close we are
12.
to a quorum, and it doesn't allow the mayor to go and do business.
4, 6, 8.
13.
Yeah, we're pretty close, but it will be up to us to ensure we either stay or get through this agenda as quickly as we can, but not too quick. Cool. So we have. Would you be able to introduce yourself? Sorry, I don't have your name here, but thank you for coming in.
Sure, I'm Olivia Yanks from Generation Zero.
Thank you, Olivia. You can go ahead.
Kia ora. Kia ora tātou. Aki mihi kia koutou. Kia ngā mema o te komiti. Kia ngā mema o te kaunihira o Tamaki Makaurau. No tauranga moana au, no Generation Zero hau, ko Olivia tōku ingoa. So on behalf of Generation Zero, I come here today in support of the adoption of Te Tarukia Tāwhiri, Auckland's Climate Plan. We are discussing the plan in a really unique time in Auckland's history. Not only are we coming out of a global pandemic, but also we're facing intersecting other issues, other crises. We're facing a drought and the effects of that alongside extreme rainfall in Northland. And as we see from COVID, crises such as COVID and climate change intersect with other existing inequalities. Hence, the adoption of a plan which ensures a safer future for all of our communities could not be more timely. Generation Zero have had the honour of supporting the plan from 2018 through to today, and we've been involved in several consultations. We've been involved in the Auckland Climate Summit, as well as the development of the Rangatahi-led action. And for that, we want to acknowledge the commitment of the Chief Sustainability Office to developing a really comprehensive plan that involves consultation with a diverse range of communities to ensure that all voices are heard. We also want to acknowledge Council's commitment to developing a just response to COVID. In the plan, it's also acknowledged that the post-COVID recovery also means that climate action must not be sidelined, but rather prioritised despite other fiscal constraints. And finally, we want to commend the Chief Sustainability Office on their ambition in ensuring that the plan is in line with targets for 1.5 degrees of warming. If the plan is adopted, the challenge for Auckland Council and its committees is to ensure accountability. As outlined in the next steps for the plan, determining the most appropriate governance structures is critical to its success. Moving forward, the responsibility for each action must be concretely allocated. This could include KPIs annually set and adhered to by CCOs, and this must also involve continued involvement from rangatahi. Furthermore, the plan outlines decarbonisation targets and budgets for reaching by 2030 and 2050. These targets must be met with mechanisms that ensure their delivery, such as outlined mechanisms which define energy consumption reductions. While these targets are a great start, the plan also outlines that these targets alone are insufficient for Auckland to remain within its carbon budget. Alongside this, additional steps are required, new strategies and new developments. In the context of COVID, the plan also acknowledges that those steps have the potential to be accelerated with the post-COVID recovery, or those steps that are required are potentially going to be hindered by the way that Council responds. We see now as the prime opportunity to really invest in developing new options to ensure that we remain within our carbon budgets so that the plan can be fully implemented. So in light of the above, we commend Te Tarukia Tāwhiri, Auckland's Climate Plan, for acceptance by the Environment and Climate Change Committee. Moving forward, we ask that the committee consider our questions for the future. How will the committee ensure that Te Tarukia Tāwhiri becomes the responsibility of the whole of Council and its CCOs? How will the funding allocations change the course of Council's current action, as well as filter down to local boards and their relevant plans? And how will funding be weighted sufficiently to ensure the 2030 and 2050 targets can be met? For a safer climate future, we must ensure that the actions outlined in the climate plan are met, at the bare minimum. But Generation Zero wants to see the Council move forward beyond the bare minimum to exceed and succeed these targets. We therefore look forward to seeing how you think critically and progressively for the implementation of the plan, translating it into tangible and measurable steps. And together we can move forward to build a safer future for all of the communities in Tāmaki Makaurau. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Kia ora.
Kia ora. Thank you so much, Olivia. Questions, committee members? Councillor Walker.
So, if we look at the current situation, our emissions recently have been going up, not going down. Do you have some comment about that? Because quite obviously, what we're doing right now is not effective.
That tends to highlight why it's really important that the plan be implemented immediately and rapidly. It's obvious from the emissions pathways that are outlined in the plan that at business as usual we will continue to increase in our emissions. However, without the plan being fully implemented, that means that we're going to continue on that pathway. And also the post-COVID response has meant, despite prior reductions in people reducing their transport, we've tended to shift back already into that business as usual pathway. Yeah. So moving forward, if the plan were to be implemented, then we would be able to avoid that.
Thank you. Any other questions? Perfect, easy. Well, thank you very much, Olivia, and thank you to Generation Zero and the team. I know for myself, you all have been a big support for us through things like the Unitary Plan, the Auckland Plan, things like SkyPass submissions, the RLTP, this plan. So without your voice, it would be more difficult sometimes to get the things over the line that we need to. So thank you very much for your continued advocacy. I'm sure we'll see you more often. Thank you.
Kia ora.
Just like to move that we accept the public input from Generation Zero, second from Deputy Chair, Pippa Coombe. All those in favour? Those against? Thank you.